Unë jam doktorita dhe kjo është Ritwells podcast.
Ku shkojnë syt, shkon trupi, shkon vëmendja, shkon energjia, bashkë që aty ndodhet realizimi i çdo mendimi dhe dëshire që ki. Prandaj vëje mendjen tek vetja, tek shëndeti yt, me informatat shkencore rreth sportit, mendjes, ushtrimeve, ushqimit dhe çdo gjë që na bën njeri, do të ndihmojmë të ndërtosh një vetvete më të shëndetshme, edhe rrjedhimisht më të lumtur, për veten edhe për tjerët. Mirë se vjen.
Mirë se erdhët në... Oh my god, bro, I forgot.
Estás te tocar, já vi toca in English.
Yeah.
Ah.
Welcome to the next episode of Ritwells podcast. This is the second season of Ritwells podcast, and it's starting in English because I have my Croatian friend here with whom I can speak nor Albanian nor Croatian. Not Albanian nor Croatian, whatever. So we're gonna record a podcast on everything fitness, motivation, discipline, muscle strength, fitness myths, and whatever, getting strong science, anything fitness science. Ivan is an amateur boxer from Dubrovnik, Croatia, who, everybody knows this city, I guess, in the world. It's one of the most beautiful cities on earth. I was born and raised there as well. That's why we are connected, apart from other professional reasons. And Ivan here is a master of sports science, and I think he is eligible enough to tell us everything he's about to tell us today. Welcome, Ivan. I'm happy to have you.
It's my pleasure as well. Thank you for calling me in this podcast.
Yes. So, what are like the top 5, 10, 3 to whatever myths that you keep hearing with your clients and that you're kind of like tired of listening to in the fitness industry? We're all tired of those, but for many people, it's like a new thing. If we debunk those, it's still going to be the first time hearing something like that. So,
Okay, so if we go from the point like working out and let's say some program of fitness trainings, I see a lot of trainers being scared that their recreational athletes or athletes will become too muscly. So the first thing they do, they underrate them.
yeah, the bulking myth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you lift heavy, you will be bodybuilder. You will gain a lot of muscle mass. And people get scared. And then those coaches give them like 30% of their maximum abilities. So let's say I see a lot of coaches in Dubrovnik and all over the world giving like 4-kilo dumbbell for deadlift. You know?
Yeah, that's funny.
So what you see there, it's just like bad structure of training, bad understanding and knowledge of understanding adaptations of training, and waste of time at the end.
Right. Yeah, because like a 8-kilo deadlift doesn't make any sense, does it? It's not enough for the muscular stimulation and neurostimulation needed for like that. We lose the purpose of deadlift, right?
Let's call it could be maybe good in some kind of gaining technical knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's say when we use it as a methodical tool. But if we want to cause precise adaptations on the tissue, let's call it muscle or tendon tissue, then we are failing a lot. Because if the client is training 45 to 60 minutes 3 times a week or 2 times a week, what we mostly see in that industry, we know how important it is to be a sniper in using that time in the best way we can. So we need to make training that it's so productive in 45 minutes that will gain us in a lot of areas.
Yeah, it will give us enough stimuli.
Definitely.
To grow.
On every aspect of the body that is important, let's say cardiovascular, let's say strength, and even the technical learning in beginning of sessions.
Right.
Like when the new client comes, when the technical aspect is low, we need to invest a lot of time on learning. So we need to have very good methods so the time waste is less as possible.
Great. Yes, makes a lot of sense. And I mean, I've had several model clients, for example, and I always made them lift heavy. They weren't questioning whether they should lift that heavy or not, but they were lifting heavy and they had great results. And I've seen several trainers in the world who would work with Victoria's Secret models, for example, and also other models. They made them lift heavy deadlifts, heavy squats, and it would definitely help them get a perkier butt, something that they all wanted. Definitely one of the greatest ongoing myths is this: what does it mean to get bulky, get strong, mixing hypertrophy with powerlifting, all these different concepts of and different methods of training and different purposes of training. How could we say what would really make us bulky? Let's say I'm a 30-year-old woman or 35-year-old woman, and there is even clients who say, my previous coach told me that I gain muscle very fast and very easily. They pop out easily, and I'm like, I'm so bored of listening to that because it's all mixed up and it takes a lot to explain to people and just scrape off the wrong knowledge, the wrong information. So like what would be the difference between several types of training like hypertrophy, powerlifting? What would make us bulky?
So there was amazing story on a college, like professor said, because a lot of people in that time were afraid to enter the gym because it meant if you enter the gym, you are a bodybuilder.
Yes.
So it's the same story like when I get my driving license for the car, can I drive Formula 1? Okay,
Yeah.
so if you enter the gym, you are not a bodybuilder. If you
Right.
get a driving license from a car, you are not Formula 1 racer.
Right.
Because there must be a lot of time investment, knowledge investment, energy and money investment that you become professional in something. So all those guys that we see that are jacked, like that are bulky, their main goal was to get bulky.
Yes.
But when you are a good coach, when you understand recreational needs and benefits, let's say, of being physically active, your main goal is not to be bulky. Only if the client comes and said, okay, I want to be a bodybuilder, then I know I'm focusing mostly on hypertrophy. I will do like most of the time the exercises where I get those stimulative reps that will make his body look bigger.
Right.
That muscle fiber that looks thicker.
Yes.
Okay. But for the normal people, the recreational people, it's combination of cardiovascular benefits, muscle mass benefits, and let's say injury prevention.
That's even more important, like training for health purposes and getting stronger.
Yes, and that we live have better quality of life
Yes.
at the end.
But I would like to stop here to the bulky part. I was about to take an example of like being a woman in 30s, and a woman in 30s belongs to general population, doesn't have any specific purpose, like she's not a model or doesn't want to compete, she doesn't want to be a power lifter, and she just wants to train for health and she just wants to look better. But if I give her a 60 kilo deadlift or 80 kilo deadlift, she's scared to lift that. Of course, not in the beginning, but later on. She's scared to lift that for two reasons. One of the reasons is a herniated disc, or she's scared that her back will snap, which we're going to come to that too later. And the second reason is that she's scared that she's going to bulk up and look like a man. Now, why won't she look like a man, or why will she not be bulky? What do you think? What can we tell?
So
people?
The fact that we can't forget there or we cannot exclude is nutritional facts. what we can first play with is the range of macronutrients we are taking, like the percentage, let's say, of proteins in intake, let's say, of fat intake and carb intake. So it can all variate towards, let's say, leaner muscle mass and smaller muscle tissue. So we need amino acids to build big muscles.
Yes.
If we take less proteins percentage in our diet, our muscles will be smaller.
Yes.
But still they will be capable to produce high forces and take advantage of big weights.
But even more important is the genetics, like our natural biological differences between being a man and a woman. Like we don't have the testosterone level that men do. So starting from there, that's maybe the first reason, even prior to nutrition, that doesn't let us be as bulky as a man. And after nutrition, we can maybe mention supplements and whatever else, add-ons like TRT or whatever that some guys take. Women would have to get some testosterone boost to maybe get that level of hypertrophy, right?
Yes, and they definitely aim for that.
Yes,
the ladies that we see in competition area of bodybuilding, like wellness, bikini, right, whatever zone they are hitting, they are aiming to be bulky.
Yes.
They have phases of preparation, let's say when they are in mass zone, gaining mass zone, when they are in definition zone, right, when they are proactively working on gaining that muscles. But with recreational people, what we can do as well, if we see the process is going in that direction or somebody is more prone to gaining muscle mass, we can definitely, the volume can be lower.
Yeah.
Let's say let's say technique is perfect to gain glutes, but still your quadriceps investment somehow by your anthropometry, it's involved a lot. Yeah. And we see your vastus medialis and lateralis being how they like it, how they don't like it. They say they have lines.
Yeah.
And then I can know that the volume can go down, but I want you to lift the same weight. Yes. Or even heavier, but it will be just smaller amount of reps, smaller amount of sets.
Yes, and you get stronger, but you don't grow.
Yes.
Exactly.
So my main component then is, okay, I will make you as strong as I can possibly, but you won't get bulky because the muscle group that you don't want to be bulky, we won't do that much.
Yes.
I just need your neurological adaptation. I need your muscle and tendon adaptation, that I know that you are in a safe zone when you are living your everyday life.
Right.
But do I want you to get bulky? If you don't want, I'm not interested in that.
Yes.
For me, it's the same thing.
Yes, there's ways to avoid even the slightest amount of bulk that people consider. Like, let's say women do consider certain... If we're honest, some women would consider me bulky as well. Like we in the fitness industry, we who train, and like all of us in the room cannot consider me bulky. Like if you look at me, it's like, come on. But there is women that when I do this, they would feel like, oh my God, she's got a big biceps and that's too much for me. And in that case, I think that even when I'm like at the top point of training, I'm feeling like the strongest and I'm training hard and I'm taking creatine, protein, my diet is on top. Sometimes I do feel that I'm a bit bulkier, and some of my friends say, stop training your arms. And I never train arms. Basically, that's very rare. But stop training your arms because you're like, you can tell that you train and you're a bit too bulky. In that case, some women who consider that thing bulky, there is a way to avoid even that level of bulkiness, which is like the bare minimum, and find the ways to design the program so they get strong and they don't get like the hypertrophy, right? And can you get like a perky, cute, good, well-trained butt with a strong based program and not a hypertrophy program?
We see power lifters, if you mean that by strong based program.
or sprinters, for example, women who sprint like 200, 100 meters, they have a very good butt and they don't train for hypertrophy, right?
Yes,
they train for strength.
they have one of the best physiques, I would say, in the sports section.
Right.
And what they do, there is transition from intensities from the track that we can do to our body that we don't have to make in the gym.
Yes.
But the tissue will still adapt.
Yeah.
Because if we want to get faster, our tissue needs to be able to produce fast switches, and our fast fibers XA and X2 need to be very good in producing those top intensities that our body can endure.
Right.
And that's what sprinters are, let's say 13 seconds to 20 seconds or 1 minute if they are running bigger stages.
When we are this, if we like leave women a little bit aside and we talk about men, one thing that men fail to understand, the ones who are kind of like, let's call them scrawny, and they want to get muscles and they want to gain weight, I've seen that they struggle a lot with a proper calorie intake. They want to train a lot, but like training is a small percentage of the whole picture, and they fail to get enough calories in. Do you struggle with that with your clientele?
So the problem with that is even if they need to lose or they need to gain, people are very used to lie themselves first, then come and lie me.
Yeah, they lie to you,
Because people are always, they prove themselves that they think correctly, they work correctly. But when it's obvious mistakes that they are doing, it's very hard to implement it and accept it.
Yeah.
Because people always like to be right and they love to work less.
Yeah. What's the example of like choosing between hard and easy?
So that's the thing. I was talking with one coach, like if you give people ability, let's say the last exercise, small amount of women like to do hip thrust. Yeah. If you give them ability, do you want to do goblet squat or you want to do hip thrust? Like 90% of them will say, let's do goblet, it's easier.
Yeah.
I'm talking now about women, but with men, it's similar thing, especially recreational people that come to gym.
Right.
So I'm coming to idea that I cannot give them the choice. Yes. Because I'm the one who is choosing for them and making their program and time best usable.
Yes.
So we need to understand psychology as well. Psychology of the ladies that you said that that will say for you that you are bulky.
Yeah.
Probably there is some psychologists who know better, definitely, but there is some psychological issues or maybe insecurities or abnormalities that they feel connected maybe towards men's body and disliking that type of things on them.
Right.
So when I talk with people, when I talk with clients, I see a lot of delusional things, like as we have some kind of sickness like anorexia and bulimia that are very common in our world that I didn't know, like almost every third or fifth girl has some kind of problem like that.
Eating disorder, yeah.
It's very common, and we as coaches are not so knowledgeable about those things till the moment we come in interaction with them.
Yes, and what people fail to understand is that an eating disorder of that kind is a psychological issue, and we need to direct them to specific professionals to help them deal with their eating disorders.
Yes, you need to be so humble to say like, I'm not maybe the person you are searching that will help you.
Yeah.
Because what will happen, I will lose my energy and time. You
won't
lose
get results,
energy and time, and we will just be in a deeper hole
and even risk causing more issues to the person, because
Definitely.
Giving a bodybuilder's diet to someone who's having bulimia or anorexia nervosa, it's just it's a very big problem when coaches try to fix that. So we need to direct specific issues to specific people, and we have to understand that it's so beautiful to say, I don't know, when we don't know, because we can't know everything. And
the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
the most beautiful thing, that you don't get lost.
Can you lose weight and gain muscle at the same time?
Definitely.
Wow. Because I thought that like chasing two rabbits, you catch none. But can you explain how is that possible?
The same thing we said, like you are a doctor, you know better the importance of hormonal panel and optimization of hormonal panels usually. Then like the amount of protein usually people take, it's lower maybe than they should take it. And then the small substitutions or changes, let's say only in the main dishes like lunch and dinner, or the thing when somebody doesn't have time in the morning, let's say in Balkan, and they go in pekara and eat small
bakery,
pizza, but it's a small pizza, or they eat a donut.
What's the problem with eating that small pizza?
First, for me, there's no problem sometimes, but the problem is habit. There is lacking of structure, because I believe everybody who is working on that segment doesn't have on Monday in the morning written take small pizza from pekara, from bakery. Because what's then organization is something that it's lacking. If I wake up in the morning and I go on work and I have already my overnight oats with that I'll put protein powder, some berries maybe in the morning, I already have everything calculated either in my brain or in my nutritive calculator that I have on the phone, that it's helping me understand and track better nutrition.
But apart from the habit, another two important issues I see with that is lack of protein. There is no protein in the small pizza, and protein is so important with every meal. And the second thing is that you start your day without protein, so you make yourself hungrier for the rest of the day. And the second thing is that, let's say somebody doesn't like oats and they don't like overnight oats. You can always boil 2 eggs one night before, and you can peel them. It takes like 10 minutes, the whole process. And then the next day you just wake up and you put a little bit of salt on it. You have a little slice of bread. Maybe you can have that little pizza too once in a while, but you had 2 eggs with it. So it kind of made more of a full meal somehow. So I think that people struggle with combining stuff when it comes to nutrition, and understanding that, yes, you can't get in the habit of having that. You had that pizza today, then you say, okay, I'll have it just today as well. Mm-hmm. And then you choose like the third day, and it goes the fourth day, or the croissant, for example. There's people who have this habit of eating a croissant every morning for like 6 years. They're
French
like,
style.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I have this croissant and coffee. That's my thing. Or like coffee and cigarette. That's like a Balkan style thing.
Even
I don't
worse.
eat. Yes.
Black like a soul.
Yeah. I don't eat until like 1, and I start my day with a cigarette and coffee. Fine. But you have to change that. No, I don't want to change that. And then the problem starts with the health issues, where I want to, yes, okay, we stick to
gastro issues as well, and things
issues.
like that.
But before we come to that, so lose weight, gain muscle, how?
Yes, lose weight, gain muscle. So it looks impossible, but how we are losing weight, let's say with obese people, it's making their muscle mass higher, and immediately we are raising their metabolism needs.
Yes.
So their expenditure in a steady state is higher in the let's say using energy.
Right.
So we need more fuel that our engine is working for the temperature raising, for heat, for everyday activity. Let's say somebody who has less muscle needs less calories for same training, for like a person who has more muscle and does the same workout, but his requirements are higher because of the bigger leaner mass, non-fatty mass.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do with people to make them gain muscles, so they use more energy but stay in deficit.
Yes, and everybody needs to understand that saying that somebody gains muscle doesn't mean that you become bulky. Gaining muscle, that has nothing to do with the way you look.
It's gaining non-fat tissue of the body.
Non-fat tissue, you're leaner. You're just stronger, you're sturdier. You're like, when somebody touches you, you're like this. you're not like dough.
Yes, I call
and you
it
feel better.
capable, composed.
Yes, you're composed, you're capable, you're strong. And that's important for longevity,
Yes.
right?
And let's say psychological benefits that it brings us.
Oh, yes.
Like self-belief, self-trust, respect,
self-esteem.
Self-respect, and all those things. Let's say that's why boxing is amazing as well.
Right.
You see those small kids that enter the gym and that are very scared in beginning. Like they are afraid, is somebody going to punch them? Because we have a lot of prejudice in our brain. You say to your parents, like, I'm going to boxing gym, and they are like, no, you can't. You know, the same thing like driving a motorbike. Sorry, no, you can't, because my mother likes to say, like, I gave you birth pretty, and you are destroying yourself.
Yeah.
But she doesn't understand the complex area of the boxing that is giving benefits to my
mental health.
Yes, physical, mental, and
the philosophy of
spiritual
life.
health.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, so people are scared a lot, and people don't believe themselves a lot.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like some coaches get lost with too much of the gym work for athletes. But now we know the biggest benefit of gym work for athletes is their self-respect and how proud you feel when you lift weight.
Right.
That endorphin feeling that gives you the kick, like, wow, I now lifted like 160 on that lift. You have a feeling that you are the strongest man on this planet.
Yes. And some people would say, like, why would you need that? You're never going to lift 160 kilos of anything in real life. And I understand that to some extent. But another problem is that what people fail to understand is that muscle is a longevity tool. Having strong muscles, what keeps you in life longer and healthier. And it makes you look younger. Like I have friends who are like 53, 57. And if you look at them, you would think that they're 20 years younger because they train all the time. And even the guy you met here in Pristina in another gym, he was like 60 something, Mili, right?
66, yeah.
66. And he looked so young. He looked like as if he's 50.
Yeah, and his movement in the gym, like how comfortable the person feels there. Like you are seeing somebody as like eating in a kitchen, in their own kitchen. He's there changing, switching the dumbbells, making like them in order, the numbers that are seeable in a row. Yeah. He comes, we didn't know each other. He comes and he sees me struggle like on a chest press. And he's like, do you need the spotter? Yeah. There is amazing energy in a moment that you are feeling in the present moment. Exactly. Because a lot of time in our heads, we are either in past or in the future. It's very hard to connect to presence.
Right.
And for me, gym is the only place, I would say, where I can be in a moment.
Yes. And there is various people, like there's some people who hate being in a commercial gym. They hate being around others. There is always a solution for everyone. Because I just don't want people to have excuses all the time about why they shouldn't train. Every time you think of training, they would say, yeah, but you're a gym bro and you like to do that. You like somebody to spot on you and stuff like that. And there's people who don't, I'm somebody who doesn't like, my favorite thing is not being in the gym, in a commercial gym. That's why I built my own gym that is a boutique gym where only 2 to 3 people can fit, or it's mostly like it's the best for one-on-one training. And for the people who hate gym overall, they hate the smell of rubber floor. They can do it at home. You just grab it like a kettlebell and you work out with a kettlebell, or you use your body. But there is never an excuse why not to train. So that's why people should understand that all the various programs that can be done, all the various volumes, like how long do you train, the intensity you train with, everything goes as long as you just train.
By the chance, now you and me are working in a gym and we are talking about gym stuff because it's mostly, it's something that we know the most.
Yes, and we chose. It's our thing. But you do on the side, you do boxing. I do boxing as well. I'm I'm gonna start jujitsu again. So like that's my thing. I like that. But there's people who like running, they like hiking, somebody likes skiing, somebody likes swimming.
Yeah, like there is variety of activities we can do. But the problem is that intensity thing that we need to hit. So if the person comes and tells me, I go swimming 3 times a week. Okay, what's the intensity you are swimming? What style you are swimming?
Right.
Is it freestyle? Is it, I don't know, dolphin? Or you are doing like a back swimming? So what speed you are using? That's why gym is amazing.
Yes.
It's the area where we give people tools and easy methodical exercises that everybody can learn in 15 minutes or sometimes a bit more.
Right.
But we hit the tissues the way we want with high intensities. So the problem with other activities is just we need to search from people a bit higher intensities because longevity
Yes.
is proven by the capability of body to endure intensity in cardiovascular system.
Exactly. So to support every sport, it's important to do the strength training because you also prevent getting injured during the sports because you're stronger, because you're readier to do the sport you like to do, like whether that's hiking or any other sport. So
it's amazing complementary thing to every person and every training
yes.
system.
And various, not various, like earlier, various sports
English class.
have English class, yes. Various sports have various programs and styles to how do we do the adaptations, which is like a different, more specific topic that would maybe we could talk about that when we would like to target athletes, professional athletes, or athletes in general. But right now, I would love to keep it to general population and talk about the importance of how does strength training help us with health and longevity. Like we know that the greater the muscle mass or the stronger we are more youthful. We live longer and we prevent sickness. We prevent illness. Like every good doctor would prescribe an exercise program before prescribing any other pill and changing lifestyle habits. We hear this all the time, changing lifestyle habits, and most of the people just don't want to do that. What are some things or the most common things that you see in people that they don't like to change, especially here in Balkans?
So people love to go out. First thing is sleep. Definitely. People don't respect their sleep enough.
Yes.
And the way it is important to us. Like the third of your life you spend in sleeping.
Yeah.
I mean, the time that you usually daily is recommended is 7 to 8 hours, and one day has 24 hours. And the way circadian rhythm as well. When we are going to sleep in today's life as well, what people didn't have problems before is like, are we using blue lights? Am I reading on a phone or I'm reading a book? Is my light going in my head, in my face, or it's pointed down in the floor? So a lot of things about sleep hygiene is unknowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like people that are highly involved in our job know the importance of sleep. Like you need to recover, you need to have good sleeping hygiene. But regular people on the street, if you ask them some questions, or people that come as a recreational people in a gym, they are not aware how to recover properly. So they are trying to find some escapes, easier ways to recover.
Yes.
But we know what's the most important.
Or the fancy ways nowadays, like red light therapy, sauna, ice baths, which are all great, but that's like more on the tip of the pyramid, not necessary if you bypass the basics of taking magnesium, sleeping at the same time, plus minus 15 to 30 minutes maybe, and waking up at the same time and taking care of what light do you see before you sleep. But you said very well, you said people like to go out in Balkans, and that's the problem with sleep. What is some other component? I have it in my head, but I want to see if you say it.
Okay.
That makes them not sleep. Like, what would you think? What's one thing coming to your mind? Yes, going out is one, but another social component.
There is a lot of drinking coffee as well. So
Okay.
caffeine and not awareness of the half life of the caffeine in our blood and system. And when should less coffee maybe be drinked? And it's not influencing everybody the same, definitely.
Yes.
But even if I'm sleeping, my deepness of sleep is maybe not so good.
Exactly.
I can be in a light phase of sleep all the time, or I can hardly hit the REM phase or deep phase of sleep.
Which are important. Every sleep phase is very important. Like REM sleep is our mini psychologist that biologically exists in our brain. So it clears out all the debris, all the bullshit that exists there and has accumulated during the day, and we don't need it anymore. So like it doesn't let all that, let's use the wrong phrase here, toxins accumulate. They're not toxins, but let's metaphorically call them that, accumulated in the brain, that over time they clog our memory, our SD card, and then we have a problem with short-term memory or long-term memory. And lacking on REM sleep can bring us to various issues like Alzheimer's and dementia and all the struggles that people have nowadays in there. But another problem, the social component of feeling guilty and not respecting yourself when it comes to sleep hygiene. You feel we in Balkans, everybody's a people pleaser. They're like, they don't feel like saying, look, no. I love you guys. I love you girls. I'm going to sleep because this is my sleeping time. One thing that I admire about my brother, who's behind the cameras right now, he's I mean, I love him. He's an asshole sometimes, but yeah.
Admirer.
Yeah. But I admire him for one thing, many things, but this one thing in particular worth mentioning here. He and his girlfriend have aligned the circadian rhythm so well that they both respect each other's time, and they basically have made it easier for themselves and their lifestyle to sleep around the same times and wake up around the same times. So none of them feels guilty that the other one is kind of awake. You know, I think that's a very big component, because we can talk about sleep as much as you want, but if we are in a relationship, or because I love to be realistic about how the circumstances are, or if we like, let's say, okay, you're not you are in a long distance relationship, and you are kind of bound to your phone. You are dependent on that. You're dependent on saying good morning, good night. If you just disappear, if you just like fall asleep and you didn't say goodnight on the phone, you wake up all panicky. It's like, oh, she's gonna think that I'm out or I'm cheating on her or whatever. So it's very important that you do the procedure of saying goodnight, blue light, all that stuff, you know. Or let's say you're not in a relationship, but your friends are important to you and they have a hard time understanding that you're an athlete, you have your own routine and whatever. It's so important to not give a shit what everybody thinks and just respect your sleeping time, because you're gonna get demented later. Let's just think about it.
Yeah, if you're doing boxing, especially, all those things can be involved, or maybe not even doing boxing, maybe drinking more alcohol than you should, or it's not even recommendable to drink alcohol. But everybody of us in our younger age, I'm 27, like I still have mistakes and I do it not oftenly, rarely now, but mistakes happened. It's normal to make mistakes, but we need to be aware of the results of them and consequences on us. And that's what we like to mask by saying everything will be all right.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we prove ourselves. Okay, have
Both
one
me.
more bottle. Should we drink one more bottle of Rita tonight? Give me one more bottle of red. It will be all right. Tomorrow we won't drink.
Yes,
That's like what's happening.
We're people of pleasure and moments. And that's beautiful to some extent for some things. But if we want to kind of structure and design a better structure of health, because health needs to be done by design too, not by default. So if we design our structure, we create structures for health, then we will end up being a better nation in general. Like if we look at some structures of the Western world, at least to some extent in this life, they have been healthier than we are in our regions in some areas. Like psychologically, there has been a golden time in the Western world that people were kind of better compared to us. Okay, we know the wars and we're not going to get there. But apart from that, we're very sturdy people. We endure a lot and we take ourselves for granted. If there's one thing that I would love to teach our nations in Balkans is to really, really understand what is self-love. This is something that we're completely stripped of. And this makes us so disrespectful towards ourselves and therefore disrespectful towards each other because we confuse self-love with selfishness. Like with narcissism. Oh my God, Ivan is so narcissistic. He just cares about himself. He goes to sleep, loves training. He goes to sleep at 9 p.m. He doesn't care about his friends. Yes. And you lose friends, you lose people like that. And that's sad. I've heard many stories like this.
It's life circulation. We need to adapt to it as well as like nature and world are very dynamic places. What we are taught when we live like in cities with buildings without so much nature, we don't see the transitions of like spring, summer, winter, autumn. Like if you watch the same tree during all over the year, you see it has green leaves, yellow leaves, leaves full of new leaves.
Right.
And it's circulation that we lost because we are now living mostly in concrete in areas with a lot of buildings. Even the sky is gray.
Yeah.
So we lost a lot of connection with nature. We are a lot of afraid of nature and we don't understand the life it should be.
Yes.
And accepting like getting a birth the same way as accepting the death of someone.
The death.
Like, and people are stubborn a lot. Like Balkan people still don't believe doctors. Like they don't want to go on a checkings because they are afraid that something will be wrong. So it's better not to go and don't know and one day die than find out, cure it. It's better to
prevent than to cure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we go by that motto a lot. And what we need to go from younger ages to educate people how important taking care of yourself is and in what ways you can do it.
Yes, because if you take care of yourself, you're better for your loved ones as well. Like they're not struggling with you, let's say past 60, you have different struggles, like you fell and you broke your hip,
yes.
Or you are losing like you're struggling with your memory. All those things are going to fall in the hands of your loved ones. Everything that you didn't say no to in the early age is going to come chasing you later. And those loved ones who didn't understand you or whom you prevented to tell the truth and just to respect yourself are going to end up carrying you anyway. Like the last 20 years of your life, most probably they might be spending taking care of you. You're all demented, having Alzheimer's or being in a wheelchair or not being capable for yourself. And so what did we do here? Nothing. Yeah, I mean, if we raise awareness about this part, I think that a lot of people are going to not care about throwing their phone earlier, like an hour before sleep. Respecting their sleep hygiene, understanding that choosing sleep is choosing yourself, your health, and you are a better person for others. Because you're not like, you told me like you have a low mood, you're angry when you sleep less, right?
Of course. And like what I would like people to take from this is like the method 3-1. I don't know if you know about it. Like,
Yeah, tell me.
before sleep, 3 hours before sleep, don't eat anything.
Yes.
2 hours before sleep, don't drink anything. And 1 hour before sleep, don't have blue lights next to you.
Yeah.
And if you really adapt that to your life and you keep like having 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you know that that component of your life, let's say it's in a very high zone. So
Yeah.
you don't have to think about third of your life. So the third of your life is very productive, very good. Then we have other 16 hours that we need to solve.
Yeah.
And then comes those, let's say, healthy habits. Then I don't want people to make a structure and leave just structure, because that's annoying as well. It takes a lot of your energy to live systemized life all the time.
Yes.
Everybody can have mistakes. Like if you want to have a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine, celebrating something, do it. If you want, for athletes not, but for a recreational person, if you really feel sick or something, skip the workout. Don't push yourself in those areas because you don't need it. Somebody else maybe does. But people think if they get to one system and if they need to always go exponentially high.
Yeah.
What's the main thing? What I want to say, everything varies. So sometimes you are going very high and then you will have 2 days of low. But after 2 days of low, don't go lower, please. Just try to keep up and the road will be towards high.
Yes. And okay, sleep good. Sleep's good for recovery, but also metabolism, also appetite control.
True.
Like
Hormones.
the way it affects our hormones, our libido, our appetite, everything. All of these things make us a better human through sleep. Sleep is like our cleansing system, and we cannot steal from it. Every time we're indebted with sleep, we're really damaging our health. And you cannot compensate over the weekends. Like that's the famous thing. Like you should wake up at
normally
as every other day. And the only way you can compensate or you can kind of like scrape off the sleep debt is having naps, 30-minute naps, 20-minute naps, like you had a nap today.
Yes, I wanted to tell you now, like people like to ask what's the best supplement for good sleep. Okay, I can tell you, or good recovery. For good sleep, I can tell you magnesium, take something like that. But for good recovery in a daily routine, the best supplement I can give you is free. Go on a sofa, lay down for 20 minutes and rest.
Yes.
Okay, people like to waste money on things that are not so important or think about things that are not so productive.
Yes.
What we need to do is give them reasons and aimings for productive thinking and waste of energy that it's productive in a way that gives them better goals.
True.
Because people sometimes think things like, okay, should I do chest press or bench press, dumbbells or barbell? I mean, there is some disadvantages and advantages at the end, but the main thing is to do it.
Yes.
Just do
Everyone, men and women, both.
Just do it.
Yes, just do it is the best motto in life. I keep saying this, like Nike has nailed it. With this one, I mean, no one can get a better motto. Like just do it, simple as that.
And that's what people are trying to do with overthinking. Escape the consequences, escape the obligations, escape mistakes.
And escape the basics.
And everything is just go.
Right.
Just try.
How do we protect our heart? Cardio.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, walking has disappeared from our lives. That's one thing I know. Many people do less than 1,000 steps. That's quite a good metric for us to see how much the person is not walking. So 10K is just like, there was a Japan commercial during some Olympics back at the time. I don't remember the year now, but that's where it stems from. They created a device and it was like a marketing tool to say like 10K steps is the way to go. But the science says that somewhere between 6,000 to 7,000 steps is just enough. So we incorporate that through stair climbing, which we also avoid, like using the elevator, we're lazy. And also like parking our cars a little bit further.
Or going by bicycle on work, it's very good thing as well.
Yeah.
But we don't like it
We
because
don't.
we get sweaty, we can't shower, we
Yeah,
stink.
yeah.
There is always some problems.
Yes.
There.
Yes. And those are like, it's for many people, it's more important to appear clean and smell nice than to prioritize your health. And there is also solutions to that. Like, I understand that nobody wants to stink. I don't want to stink, but there is solutions to that. And you just have to think maybe a minute or two longer to find the solution. But anyway, how do we incorporate our cardio and what are the zones that are important to know?
So definitely depending on, let's say, our VO2 max, yes, and our capacities, we can first talk about that. And what I like to use, of course, with athletes, but with recreational people as well, it's the polar belt that is tracking our, let's say, pulse.
Yeah.
What I mostly recommend people is learning some skill. As you said beautifully, like I'm doing boxing, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. It's amazing to combine those two things in one so that you learn a skill and you are working on your cardiovascular system. In reasons because it's very motivating, it's much more interesting. You are working on your psychological capacities as well. So it's a game. Let's say we are always kids. Kids love games. When you give in a gym a grown-up game, they love it as well.
Yeah.
We just pretend. We have a lot of masks. And then you are some serious guy or girl, like I give you one standing on one leg and playing balance with tennis ball.
Yeah.
Like shooting each other or giving it to each other. And then you see people smiling. Like if I see someone down on beginning of training, I always give some kind of game for beginning. Because I want them to switch. You are not anymore in the office. Yeah. You came in a gym. You will now have fun. You will do amazing workout. And I will be amazing trainer after that. And we are all proud because of the process and how we transmitted your sad tone to very happy and peaceful tone.
Yeah.
So if we can do it through game, amazing. If we can do it through some interesting activity, like maybe rowing or hiking or driving a bicycle with your family 3 times a week or just walking through forest.
Yes.
There's a lot of photons, greenery, our eyes love green things.
Yes.
They love nature, they love sea as well.
And our mind too. Yeah.
So it's very peaceful inputs as well. The stage of our mind, it's important. State, what it brings us, where it brings us.
Yeah.
So if we can kill 2 flies in the same hit, it would be amazing. But in a gym, if you can come and do just walking, let's say after for relaxation or do some kind of orbit track or on stepper, or you can now use air bike.
Yeah.
And one more thing that it's amazing, it's jumping rope.
Yeah,
for me, it's very interesting.
Right.
Like 10 euros equipment, you can do it at home, you can do it in a park, you can do it in a gym, you can do it in a living room and in a bedroom. So wherever you want, if you have free space, you need like 6 square meters. You can have the most fun you can.
How do we measure the heart rate? How do we know in the easiest way that we are in the right zone?
So for recreational people, I would always hit that green zone.
Yes,
because
and that is?
It's from 130 to 150 maybe.
Yeah.
140, let's say, average like that. Because it gives you pleasure, it gives you flow.
Yeah.
It's not struggling area, it's not too easy area. So it's not blue, it's not orange or yellow.
And the one way to measure it is you're able to say a sentence in one breath.
Okay. I didn't know for that, but amazing.
Yeah.
Without heavy breathing.
So you're not like breathing heavily. You should be able to say like, I'm Ivan and I'm in Rita's podcast in one breath. And then you're like, I'm Ivan and I'm, So you repeat that 2 or 3 times and you know that you're in the green zone.
Amazing. Okay. Now I will talk to my clients and tell them how are you feeling.
Don't steal my methods.
Tell me something. Tell me more. That's why I came to Kosovo.
Yeah, exactly. I invited you to learn the business side. You came here to understand how to talk to clients. Great.
While they walk or
Yes,
run.
while they walk or run. Yeah.
Okay.
But how do we make them do all of this? Like, people are quite lazy, and they're like, yeah, I know the nature, the greenery, this, that. Motivation versus discipline.
Discipline and education.
Yeah.
We need to know at the end that we are educators.
Yes.
That's maybe the biggest benefit of our job is educating people,
Yeah.
educating kids, grown-ups, elderly.
And when you're aware, it's harder for you to mess it up, right?
Yes, because if I know how, let's say, chips as an ingredient is not good, and I have ability to choose eat it or not to eat it. If I don't know why, probably I will eat
Yeah.
it. But if I know why not, I will skip it because
Yes.
it's not essential,
Yes.
like water.
And if you're afraid of it, which is the version 3, then you're going to develop psychological issues. That's why I hate fear mongering.
Okay, we don't want that as well.
Yes. but between not knowing, and being afraid of it, knowing is the most important part, because it keeps you in the golden middle.
So yes, if you describe people and if they are mentally clear and you tell them you will be more productive, you will live longer years, you will be... It's sad when you see young person being obese and not being able to run to catch the bus. They get hyper frustrated and
Yes.
sad because for them running 10 meters, it's a huge stress.
Yeah.
And they don't trust themselves that they can do it. So when you see somebody like that, I get that feeling of sadness, because why you have one life, just one. Why wouldn't you be best version of yourself in a way that you are capable to have this life in the best way you're supposed to be having it?
Yes. Why are our clients and people who follow us so clingy? Why do they depend on us so much?
Because it's hard. It's not easy to be us.
What-
What I meant by this, it's hard to live a healthy lifestyle, especially in today's world, because we have a lot of abilities and we have a lot of wasting time.
We have a
that
lot
is
of
wasted.
choices, you mean? Yeah.
Yes. Like the food choices before, you had one cow on one family, one pig on one family, and vegetables that you produced. Now you go to shop, you buy, let's say, fries, you put it in a frying pan, and then you eat fries because it's the easiest. But we have so many abilities, we choose the worst ones.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's our nature, I would say.
Yes, but living a healthy lifestyle, true, it's very hard until you get in the habit. Like, I've built this for maybe I started when I was 18, so it's been somewhere 14 years, like, of this intense building and crafting a healthy lifestyle. And of course, it's never late to start, and it's important to keep going no matter how imperfect you are, right?
It's okay to do mistakes.
Yes, this is something that we have to keep remembering. And even though it's a cliche, we hear it all the time, it's still not enough of
Hearing it all the time. Because we hear it, but we don't process it.
Yes.
And it's important thing that we are mild towards ourselves.
Yeah.
Because where we live now, and Instagram and TikTok and fame and things that are showing us that everybody is successful, everybody is smiling all the time, because we are not living here in the presence,
Yeah.
in the reality. We mostly live in virtual place.
Yeah.
And everybody's posting happy moments. Happy moments on dinner, happy moments with kids, happy moments with family, happy moments with life,
Yes.
with wife, with dog. And nobody's sad. Rarely somebody is crying on social media and saying, oh, my life is so sucky today.
Yeah.
Everybody is amazing. Everybody is hype. Everybody is successful. Business owners talk about successful businesses. Nobody's saying, I made this business, it didn't go good way, and now I'm on zero or in minus.
Yeah.
So what we hear, it's a lot of positive things, but it makes us as well irrational a lot sometimes, and chasing things that are very far away in the future. I see a lot of youngsters coming in a gym every day, like in a boxing gym, don't know how to put reps, don't know how to throw good jab, don't know how to defend good. And they ask me, how did you do it? But I need to explain that I'm in a process already 6 years from this moment. And you came a month ago.
Yeah.
The time will give you things, and good methods can shorten the time. That's what good trainers are doing. Shortening the time with good methods till the goal.
Yes, and you're consistent with whatever you do.
But still, the crucial thing is time.
Yeah.
And patience. And what people today lack is patience. We have ability to scroll 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
We have ability to read 2 sentences of the book. And we have ability to watch reels and videos that are very dynamic, maximally on average 15 seconds.
Yes.
And you expect from your kid to be good in school.
Of course. So that's why you have to make the environment for the neurological part of your being. Like if we look at neuroscience, it explains a lot. It explains, we have so many explanations on dopamine, beautiful discoveries, neuroscientific discoveries about so many things. And we know now what environment should we make for our brain in order for us to minimize the effect of the modern world and the social media. Because I always like to mention social media as a very big component. It's our parallel reality in our life. Yeah. Basically, half of our lives are lived on our phones. If you only think about how accessible we are, previously we couldn't access anyone as easily as we can now. We just remember something and you go write a text. You have a comment in your head and you just share it with someone. You connect with someone through memes that somebody else created. Our ability to express emotions has dampened because we have minimized it into 2D emojis. Like it's much harder for us. We already had a problem of expressing emotions. I'm always also referring to Balkans exclusively. Like
it's our nature.
Yeah, it's our nature. We have a hard time expressing emotions, especially men. And now we have emojis. Like we're just layering stuff on top. We're putting stickers. So it's not that we have been born this way, that we are like leading people. You said to me, like sometimes 60-year-old people come to me and they're asking how to live my life. And you're like, dude, I've never been a father. I've never.
Who am I to give you that thing?
Yes. But they kind of feel that we're very clean. One of my clients told me, and she's my friend now, she says, I feel like you're clean. Your organs are clean. They shine. And I'm like, dude, no.
Don't put me pressure.
And now that she knows me more, she knows like what piece of shit I am. But no, like it's just, there's a lot of stuff beneath
Mistakes are very
there is
natural.
There is a lot of mistakes. There is a lot of imperfections. It's not everything. I would like people to know that it's not all shiny as it looks on Instagram. And you can't measure things by just somebody being successful in the business they have. Okay, I've devoted my time and consistency to my business. I've been good with this, but I'm not my job. Like I'm a human behind this podcast, I have pain. If you ask somebody from my personal life, most probably they're going to tell you a completely opposite story. You know what I'm talking about.
You deeply and who you come with your problems as well.
Exactly.
Or your psychologist, maybe.
Yes. So I'm doing my job of giving you the torch because I know I've been through this pathway and I know how will you feel in a certain moment and what will you find after 200 meters. But you should walk. I can't make you. I can't walk your path, you know? And therefore people need to understand, use that momentum of mojo, like use the momentum of motivation and then let discipline do the job because the motivation will not be there. We have seasons like motivation comes in January, it comes in the beginning of spring, it becomes like, it goes away around summer, but you keep the discipline, you try to do your best. Then it comes again in September.
Hormones, heat, weather, all things influence us because we are creature of nature of nature as well.
Exactly.
It has influence on our organism.
Exactly, and you respect
Hydration.
that. You don't try to make like abstract. You mentioned this many times. People are very abstract.
Abstract. Irrational.
Yes.
Irrational a lot. From movies, maybe.
Yeah.
Because we are influenced by movies a lot, raised by movies, raised by soap operas. Like when I was thinking, who taught me what's love? Or the, like, I don't want to say illusion of love, but the presentation of love. It was mostly from soap operas. Like I was watching as a kid the dramatic soap operas on TV. So I thought, loving someone is completely dramatic.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of crying, a lot of sacrifice. It is, but it can be nice as well.
And it can be steady. I thought that drama is part of love as well. Like you have to, it has to be constantly like fighting, making up, breaking up, dynamics all the time. Like it's like, you know, being on a very fast paced racehorse.
Roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes a lot of time now to unlearn that.
Yes. And the thing you said about people and like pushing them, I always thought I'm the one who is giving them wings.
Yes.
But what I've learned now, everybody has their own wings. I will just give you the methods how the wings will show easier and be beautiful, clean, big, beautiful, and strong. Yeah. So I just want people to know that everybody has capability of becoming someone who they want. Just requires a lot of effort, good methods, and time.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you give all those aspects credibility and when you point them out and be aware of the importance of having good systems, being clean, what you said, you will achieve everything you want in your life.
Exactly. Well, Ivan, thanks a lot. This has been a great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you as well for calling me one more time.
Yeah. So we've come to an end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you could summarize the importance of things that can make us well, the good rituals that make us well, and keep watching us.